The project for Charming Beach Pincushions is very simple to do. We'll start with digitizing the starfish. With a new page open, come up to your text designs and click on the down arrow to the right to bring up other things, including your applique shapes. Scroll down through the applique shapes menu until you get to the starfish, which is right here. Click on it and select OK. Now it comes onto the screen as an applique all ready to go. And you can see over here in the sequence view, it's an applique. So you've got your placement line, your tack down line, and your cover stitch. Eileen's instructions have us enlarge it to 127 by 121 millimeters. In order to do that, I'll need to switch to my millimeters by right-clicking on the ruler, click metric, and now when I look at my size in the transform tab of my design, I can change the width to 127, which makes the height 117, and it'll keep it in proportion, and click apply. There you go. So that's close enough. If we wanted to be exact and change this to 121, we could do that. And apply. Okay, so now you have your shape. Let's center that in our screen. And we'll start to embellish it. Let's start our decoration by clicking on the run stitch. Beginning in one of the points of the starfish, we'll come out just to the edge, across and down. Let's come back to the same approximate place, and over here and down and back and over here, and just continue until you've put a running stitch down each of the starfish's legs. And when you get to the end, right-click, and you have your design. Now, we're going to fix this up just a little bit. Let's click on the Shape tool, and we can put those dots on top of each other. And I'm going to add a curved line here by adding a point and pulling it in a little bit. Do the same here. Add a point, pull it in a little bit. Come over here, add a point, right-click, add a point, pull it in a little, so it's a little bit curved. Just adds to the aesthetic. Add a point, and there we go. Now, let's see what this looks like in 3 dimensions. And that looks pretty good, but we still have a little bit more that we want to add to our starfish, and that is a simple little star design that's very easy for you to create. Now to create our little star pattern, it's very simple. I'm going to come up here and select a manual stitch. And then we're just going to draw like a little asterisk type of a design. I'm going to click up here and down at the bottom. Then we'll come over here and back to this side. And we'll just work our way around, and it does not by any means have to be perfect. Just kind of back and forth with this little star. Come over here and back here and right-click to set it. Now, because this is a manual stitch, each time it drops down, it is when the needle penetration hits. So we're not going to have a lot of chunk stitches going on in the center of this, just where the needle drops. Now, we're going to select that, and I'm going to shrink it down even smaller. And you really won't even be able to tell much about how big it is. Let's center origin. Now I'm going to take my little star and I'm going to move him over here. And if I right click and say duplicate, then wherever I click, it's just going to put one in for me in the same size. If I want to click and drag and resize it just a little bit, I can do that also. Let's just click around. Do a little click and drag here, maybe here. I'm spreading them out a little bit so that it'll be easier to trim jump stitches if my machine doesn't have a trimmer. And there you go. I think I want one more right there. All right. Now these are pretty close together, so I'm going to pick him up and move him here. I'm going to select him and just adjust as needed. These stitch before the applique. So what we need to do is come up here and select our applique. We're going to break it apart. I'm going to change the color of the applique to red, and then right click and say break up path. Now when we look at the red color, we have a run, and an applique. I want to send this applique to the front so that that stitch stitches last. So I want to take this one. I'm going to change the color to yellow. Change the color to yellow. Then I'm going to take this and copy it, paste it, and then move it to the front. Select the applique and move it to the front. Now, let's see that again. When I go through this and do my slow redraw, it's giving me my placement line, then my tack down line, then all of my decoration. Once that's done, that's when I'm going to slide under my backing so it gets tacked down. I can trim it all away, and then it starts the applique. And we're good to go. If you want to make the applique a separate color, you could change it to green. Let's hide everything and show it as we go. A placement line, your tack down line, all of your decoration. Now you slide your other fabric underneath, and you'll stitch your tack down line for that and your final finishing stitch. And you're good to go. The designs for the pails are very simple to do. If you don't have the designs that Eileen used from her monograms for the home, just use the fonts that are in your system. We'll take first and select our font, click, and type in a P. Then select a font that looks identical to the one Eileen used from her fonts, or at least very similar, and that would be the formal monogram, and click apply. Now we need to make this letter 3 inches high, so we'll change grid back to inches in our ruler and change our height size to 3 inches and click apply. And there's our design. Let's double check it in 3D. Yes, it filled in, did the drop stitches on the satin so that your stitches wouldn't be too long. So that's fixed that for us perfectly in the software. Then we'll click text again, click here, and we'll type in INS, select the appropriate or similar font, which in this case I found to be Souvenir Times. Now, of course, you can do whatever you want to do. Apply, and let's see how high we want to make those. We'll do those to 1.5 inches and click apply and select our design and simply move it down here. Let's center origin, and we can play with this however we want. If we look at it 1 to 1, we get a good idea of what it's going to look like. If we need to move this over a little bit or reposition it, we certainly can do that. Then save the design in the format for your machine and you're ready to go. Needles is just as simple. We click on a new file. we select a text, type in the letter N or a capital N, and select Formal Monogram, which is right here. Apply it. Change the size to 3 inches. Click Apply again. Then let's zoom out a little bit and move over. Select our text again and type in Eedles, E-E-D-L-E-S. Let's do souvenir, or we could do times. Let's see what times looks like. It's another one that's very similar, and 1.5 inches. I don't think it's quite as heavy, so it might even be preferable. Move this over into place. And there we go. We're all set to save that in the format for our machine and stitch away. Follow the instructions for the projects in your step-by-step instructions and enjoy these charming beach pin cushions. Thank you for joining us, and this is Tamara Evans. So long for now.